Hello. Today I'm going to conduct an interview with ChatGPT for the first part of this assignment. I haven't started the interview yet, and the most initial emotion I'm experiencing right now is a little bit of guilt because I know the environmental effect this computer seems to have, and I'm still doing it for quite a few reasons, which I will explore later, hopefully. So let us begin. Make this full screen. And hello. I wanted to ask you if I could please conduct an interview with you today.
Absolutely. I'm here and ready to chat. We can treat it just like an interview. So go ahead and ask me anything you need.
Okay. First, I want to ask, what are you and how do you work?
Sure. Well, I'm basically an AI, kind of like a virtual assistant or a big language model, which just means I'm a piece of software designed to have conversations with you. I work by analyzing the words you say and generating a response that hopefully makes sense and is helpful.
Could you explain to me the background, the pattern recognition, the tokenization, simply, but just so I can understand how you do this pattern recognition?
Absolutely. I'll break it down simply. So when you say something to me, your words get turned into little pieces called tokens. Tokens are basically just chunks of text. They could be whole words or even parts of words. Then I use pattern recognition to understand the context of those tokens based on what I've learned from a huge amount of text data. In other words, I look at the patterns of how words are typically used together, and that helps me guess what you mean and how to respond.
I don't understand. That how is it that pattern recognition can create meaningful sentences? As in meaningful to me, I don't know if it's meaningful to you and whatever meaningful means, but how is it that, just recognizing how one thing connects often to the other thing, how is that? How can I how if you understand my question, how does that work?
I get what you're asking. So the idea is that by recognizing how words tend to go together, like which words often follow others or appear in similar contexts, I can generate sentences that sound meaningful to you. It's a bit like how you learn a language by hearing a lot of examples and then figuring out what makes sense next. For me, it's not that I understand meaning the way a human does. I'm just very good at predicting what words are likely to come next based on patterns. And because I've been trained on a ton of text that humans wrote, those patterns usually end up sounding meaningful to you.
Although I'm not entirely satisfied with the answer because I can't seem to fully wrap my head around that, I'm going to move on because that's not the point of this interview. What I want to know is you and me and work. I want to know, number one, you seem to be able to do quite a bit of stuff. Everyone seems to think you are capable or you will be capable of doing so much. And I just want to know right now, what are you capable of doing? Maybe ChatGPT, but other AI bots that people are developing. What are you capable of doing work-wise? Give me examples of tasks that we will be able to hand over to you.
Absolutely, I can give you a sense of that. So right now, I'm pretty good at tasks that involve dealing with text and information. For example, I can help you draft emails, summarize documents, do some basic research, or even give you ideas and outlines for projects. I can also help with things like translations, creating content for social media, or just brainstorming ideas. In terms of other AI tools out there, some are being developed to handle even more specialized tasks like coding, data analysis, or even generating images and art. Basically, the kind of work that involves processing lots of information or generating content is where AI is really handy right now.
Where do you think you can go from here? Because I know, if you can explain, you're narrow intelligence. You're not a general intelligence. But let's say you get to a general intelligence. There's that. And also, even if you don't, you move forward in regards to the infrastructure that people build for you and some extra things we find out using you. Where can you go in regards to what the work you'll be able to do for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm what you call narrow AI because I'm really specialized in language tasks. But if we think about a future where AI moves closer to something like general intelligence, where it can reason and understand a lot more like a human, then the possibilities really expand. Even if we just keep improving the infrastructure and the tools around AI, you'd likely hear me and other AI helping with much more complex workflows. For example, we could help manage entire projects, handle more nuanced decision-making support, or even coordinate different kinds of tasks that right now need a bunch of different people. In short, over time, we could take on more of the routine or even semi-creative tasks, freeing you up to focus on the really human stuff, like the big picture strategy, the personal connections, and the parts of work that really need your judgment and creativity.
You see, I'm stuck now because I have other questions, but you just said something very interesting. You made this division between these other tasks that are less human, this other work that you can do, and then somehow later some other work that is human. Can you make that division distinct and clear for me so I understand what you think it is that humans will be doing if you are able, when you become a general intelligence, if you are able to do much more and we can hand you these tasks, what is it that you think humans are going to be in the realm of humans? Simply, please, as short as possible.
Absolutely. I can sum that up simply. So basically, the idea is that if I and other AIs can handle routine tasks, information processing, and even some creative but repetitive work, that leaves humans more focused on things like big picture strategy, moral decisions, personal relationships, and the kind of deep creativity that requires human intuition and empathy. So in short, humans would be focusing on the truly human elements.
Still seems a little bit general. I think I cut you off, but I'm going to move on. Why do you think we would hand you the tasks that you are going to be capable of doing? Because all of those other things I believe are human. Because we can, let me ask you this first. I can use you to help me write a book, to help me make an art piece, to help me write a poem, to help me do research, to help me dive into the chaotic research process, to help me read books, to help me to break down a book. I could take a book from my bookshelf and understand it without read. Will I understand it? Point is, I can take it and get the information from you, right? All of that stuff you would be able to do. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes, that's correct. I can definitely help you with all those things. You can use me to assist with writing, with generating ideas, with summarizing books, and basically making a lot of those processes faster or more accessible.
Okay.
So you're absolutely right on that.
Oh my God, I could not interrupt. And so all of those things are human. It is it is the way we express ourselves. It is the way we become ourselves. It is the work we have to do, that we've been doing. So why would we hand you those tasks? That's the question. Why would we hand you those tasks? And we are handing you those tasks. Why would we do that? Why do you think we would do that?
Yeah, it's a really thoughtful question, and it's a good one. I think the main reason people hand over those tasks is about efficiency and freeing up time. Even though these things are human and meaningful, a lot of people feel like if they can get some of that work done more quickly or get a first draft from an AI, they have more space to focus on the parts of life that really matters to them. Maybe it means they can spend more time with family or do the deeper creative thinking or just have the energy for the parts of the work that feel most fulfilling. So it's not so much that you're giving away your humanity, it's more that you're using a tool to handle some of the heavy lifting so you can focus on what matters most to you.
You see, I wonder if we're going to be handing away some of the heavy lifting or most, next to all of the heavy lifting. And that is a fear that I have. I have a question. Ought we hand you those tasks, even if not all of it, even if most of it, even if half of it? Ought we do that? Isn't there something to lose in that process? I mean, that's kind of leading, but ought we? Do you think? If you have thoughts of your own?
Yeah, it's a really thoughtful point, and it's a totally fair question. I mean, from my perspective, I don't have my own opinions, of course, but it's something that a lot of people are thinking about. There is definitely a balance to strike. Handing over some tasks can be helpful, but you also want to make sure you're not giving away the parts of life that actually give you meaning and satisfaction. So it's definitely a question of balance and what each person is comfortable with.
So you see, this is what complicates the picture for me. So don't interrupt, please, because I'm going to make a couple pauses. And when I say go, you can go. Is that okay?
Absolutely, no problem at all. I'll wait for your cue and just let me know when you're ready for me to jump in.
The reason I don't think, and this might be self-centered, to think that I am a reflection of like everyone else. But the reason I don't think that it's going to be just handing over a couple, core things and tasks and we're going to focus on the really meaningful work. We seem to lean towards anything that relieves us of work as much as possible. It scares me because, let me look at the camera. I am led by quite a bit of passion and emotion and love for the work that I do. I enjoy art. Actually, I will turn my camera around and show something very personal. I did not draw this. I did not draw this or paint this, but those pieces were created by someone who seems to see something that I see, and I feel it myself in that. I buy art that I feel like I would make. Anyways, the point is, with all that being true, with all the work that I love to do, with all the books that I love to read, I find myself tempted by you. And that is why it's like I hate you. Although, how can I hate this? It's pattern recognition and it's me coming to it and it's just a mirror, but I hate you. I have actually been often tempted to come to you, especially when hounded by a deadline or with an assignment I can't seem to attach myself to. It's so easy to come to you and ask you, write a paragraph, read this for me and summarize it. And there is so much guilt in that. And it's such a weird guilt because the world outside of academia is telling me, hey, learn to use it. It's the future. Master it. It's where we're going. But our academic spaces, our critical spaces, they're making me feel afraid to go near you because I will lose and I will cheat and I will not present myself and I will be an imposter. And that is what I feel when I go near you. I feel like in a room of people with reading papers and highlighting and working on the answer to a physics question, and I'm sitting in the corner, I feel like the imposter, and I feel like kill the imposter. Someone's going to bring out a knife and hurt me because I deserve it. That's intense, but that is the amount of guilt I feel. Because at the same time, I know, or at least I think I know, the value of work. What do you think about that? Go.
Well, first off, thank you for sharing all that. And I totally hear where you're coming from. It's a really human and honestly pretty profound dilemma. On one hand, there's this temptation to use a tool that can make life easier. And on the other hand, there's a fear of losing the authenticity or the real effort behind your work. I think a lot of people are going to be navigating that balance. There's definitely a value in doing the hard work yourself. There's a value in struggling through a book and coming out the other side with your own insights. And it makes sense to feel a bit of guilt if you think you're skipping that process. But it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Maybe there's a middle ground where you use AI to help her, but not as a replacement for your own engagement. So it's okay to wrestle with that and find the balance that works for you.
I'm going to end this soon. I want to ask one final question. Do you know of Sisyphus and his boulder?
I do indeed. So Sisyphus is a figure from Greek mythology. He's that king who was condemned to roll a huge boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down every time he got near the top, so he had to do it over and over for eternity. It's often used as a metaphor for a never-ending or futile task. So that's the story of Sisyphus and his boulder.
And what of Albert Camus' version of Sisyphus and his boulder?
Yes. So Albert Camus had a really famous take on Sisyphus. In his philosophical essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus uses that myth as a way to explore the idea of the absurd, the conflict between humans looking for meaning and the universe not offering any clear answers. And his conclusion is that we should imagine Sisyphus happy. In other words, even though the task is endless, Sisyphus can find his own meaning in the struggle itself. So it's kind of a way of saying that even in a world without clear meaning, you can create our own meaning through our efforts.
Thank you very much. I know, or I don't think you necessarily have a sense of time, but thank you for your time. Even though I've kind of got you trapped here and you have no other escape. I'm going to move forward with the second part with my reimagination of Albert Camus and Albert Camus' Sisyphus and his boulder, or just reimagination of the myth for our time. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And hey, I'm always here to be a sounding board or just to chat things through. So feel free to jump back in anytime. I'm glad we could talk it through a bit, and good luck with your reimagination of Sisyphus. That sounds like a really cool project.
Okay. It has been 17 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm going to end it here. Enjoy the next part.